Hello, everyone. I am back. It has been a wonderful, wonderful week. Hari, good to see you. It was a very busy Build conference last week. So, for those people unaware, Microsoft Build is one of Microsoft's, I'd say, two biggest conferences that they put on. There's Build and Ignite, and Build is the slightly more developer-y focused, which means all kinds of cool dev stuff. Shockingly, the theme of the event was AI, and AI. Which there was quite a few conversations I had with people of saying, oh, well, I don't see insert technology X here, very well represented. Does that mean Microsoft's abandoning it? No, I think it was more around they definitely heavily focused all of the content and similar things around AI. Not to say other things aren't important, but that was very much the all-in that they went for. So we'll get to more of those details in a moment. But first, a handful of things. Let's see. I'm going to go this side. So there is a user group talk coming up next week. So today is May 29th. June 3rd. So if you people are watching this on YouTube, because I think this is going to go out like only a day or two before this, hopefully you see this in time. But this will be streamed online. It will be on Intellitek's YouTube. You can also sign up for the link via Meetup if you want to go through and do that there. If you are local and want to show up in person, even better. But it is going to be... It says till 6:30. I think practically this is more like 5:10 to 6:15 or something like that. They just buffer it a little bit on either side for how things are going to go around. But this is going to be a great talk going through all of the C# features from C# 1.0 all the way up to C# 14. For those people who know their versions well, you'll note that 14 doesn't release until next November. So we're going to do a lot of past and a little bit of future and some present. It's going to be awesome. And if you wanted just a little sneak teaser, did you know you can do this? This makes me so excited, right? I could target .NET 10 with C# Lang version 1. If that isn't just completely juxtaposed, I don't know what is. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be an absolute hoot. I have thoroughly enjoyed putting together this material. At the Build conference, I even got to spend a little bit of time chatting with, wrong one, hang on, this guy, Anders. So for people who are unfamiliar, Anders Hillsberg is often referred to as the father of C#. He is very brilliant. 4 programming languages to his name. Delphi, Turbo Pascal, C# and TypeScript. So he currently runs the TypeScript team, but he originally did the C# team. So I got to chat with him for a little bit, and I also got to chat with Mads Thorgensen, who's currently running the C# team. So it was great. It was lots of useful information, and then I had Fred, who is a member of the C# team, captive in a booth with me at Build for several hours, which was awesome. So I had lots of fun. I was just tickled to death and very excited the entire conference. I don't know what it was. I don't know that the Build conference was much different than Build conferences in the past, but for some reason this time around, I enjoyed it more. So for what it's worth, I enjoyed it more. On the note of the Build conference, if people are interested in stuff to look at, so this playlist here from Microsoft is all of the dev tools and .NET related stuff from Build. Now, there's obviously a lot of really interesting sessions that were in here. Now, a couple things I'm going to point out. The ones here that are like the 15-minute sessions, I enjoyed these a lot while I was at the conference. They weren't necessarily in the big rooms. They had their expert area with a lot of booths and a couple theaters in that big main room. And these were basically like 15-minute lightning talks. But I found that these lightning talks were really dense information-wise. The presenters had to try to cram as much as they could into a 15-minute block. And there was some absolute gold in some of these, right? So if I can call out just a few that I thought were very good. The MCP one, if you're at all interested in agent communication, or building MCP servers. That one was great. And again, these talks are dense in information, with the expectation that even though they can only scratch the surface, if you want to go deeper, go and look into it. This No Projects with C#, the .NET Run, this one is actually really cool. This is one of the features that really excites me for .NET 10. So you can grab preview bits and play with some of this stuff, but some of the bits aren't actually expected to come till November. And there were demos where people were literally grabbing nightly bits, and so stuff went wrong, right? In addition to AI not always behaving the way you want, it's people were running nightly builds and things went haywire. Like, I'm always surprised that they do this. Like, I went and did one of the labs, and it was clear that the lab had changed between, like, and I know that they had people intentionally go through every lab, test all the steps, make sure everything was perfect, right? The problem is then everybody cuts out a release right at build. And so it's like you tested your lab with all the stuff prior to build, and then all the releases hit. And it's like there was stuff that was broken, and a lot of it, I think, was related to the simultaneous release on all of this stuff. Oh, Izzy, it was great. It was great. I'm talking MS Build at the moment because this was absolutely amazing. I have not gotten through this entire playlist myself. Some of these I was able to attend in person. This Learn How to Write C# better in 15 minutes. This is useful, but it's not as useful for people who have kept up to date on latest C# features. A lot of pattern matching, some stuff. Like Mads was great. I actually sat in the front row and was cheering him on. But like, it's good, but there's nothing revolutionary in this one, right? It's mostly trying to get those developers, because there was a shockingly large number of developers at the Build conference that were still running old .NET Framework stuff, and the big question was, hey, how do I update, right? Because Microsoft teased out their new Copilot-enabled upgrade assistant, which is awesome, right? It was really cool, but the problem was that upgrade assistant and its current state does modern .NET to modern .NET. So think .NET 5 to .NET 9. That's great, but that's not the hard upgrades that people are struggling with, right? Like, that is not, like, usually if you're already on .NET 5, getting to .NET 9, in a lot of cases, is changing a 5 to a 9, right? There's other stuff with analyzers and similar things that come in and gets at play. So it's like, it's not, I don't want to undersell how nice the tool is, but it wasn't the problem people were really struggling with, right? A lot of people were trying to figure out, how do I get from .NET Framework to modern .NET? Like, what's my upgrade path there? And there's not great answers. The Copilot infused one, they did say Net Framework support is on the roadmap and forthcoming. When? TBD. But they did say on the roadmap and forthcoming. So that for anybody stuck on .NET Framework, the good news is there may be a nice AI help way, because doing those migrations is not really exciting code. Like at my job, we help a lot of big companies migrate old stuff to modern stuff because, you know, they're out of support, things are dead, whatever, right? And they need somebody to help do it. And it's not a trivial, like, you can't usually regex your way to victory on those situations. It takes a little more thought, but there's a lot of boilerplate. And so even if the Copilot can do, 50% of it, that's a huge number of dev hours we're saving, and that's awesome. So that's kind of what it's looking at right now, and definitely worth going. If you're at all interested in TypeScript, this talk from Anders, another one that I sat in on, was excellent as well. Especially if for anybody who is familiar, there was a little bit of a, we'll say, flare online because the TypeScript compiler, they recently announced that they were rewriting it in Go, and there was all kinds of craziness that went into it. And Anders did interviews. A lot of people threw in, why didn't they use C#? Blah, blah, blah. Like, there was stuff going all over the place. It's like the guy who literally invented C# didn't pick C#, right? But like, I have to really respect Anders' decision because, like, in this talk, he outlines kind of the criterias that they were going to, that they were looking for in what they were wanting to support, and why Go was the best fit given those criteria, right? Like, C#, it is an amazing language that you can do a ton of stuff with. But there are reasons that different programming styles and types, like sometimes a functional language solves things better. And depending on the type of problem you're solving, that might be a better choice. And it's like his argument kind of boiled down to, here's the problem we're solving. We're building a compiler, right? We're not building apps or other things like that. We are building a compiler. It needs to have the following behaviors. We want to maintain X, Y, and Z to make maintainability of the code and people who are familiar with the repo so they won't just throw away all that knowledge, right? Like there was extra stuff went in there. Is it an offline AI helper? Probably won't be able to be allowed to use any of that on my machines. Might be the beginning of Skynet. There are, you know what? Let's actually look. I don't know. I don't know that the Copilot infused one is not, because it needs Copilot, which requires being able to reach out to. I can only imagine an army of various systems backed by Azure AI or similar. But the old school upgrade assistant, this is also the one. So yeah, this is a beautiful example of Microsoft sucking at naming. They have two tools that are in active support right now, both called Upgrade Assistant. Yeah, that's not going to confuse anyone. So this one, I think the name I heard several people use was like Classical Upgrade Assistant, right? This one can run offline, but this is more of like an expert system level stuff, right? It's gonna, it'll help migrate your stuff forward. It'll bring your CS proj up to modern SDK format, all of that lovely stuff that you kind of would expect in a forward migration like that. You get that kind of stuff with it. So this one, I believe, can run entirely offline once it's downloaded and whatnot. Don't quote me on that. I was hoping there would be something in here that would actually show it, because this was actually one of the tools that I push people towards when they say they had .NET Framework code that they were looking to migrate, because this thing has a report that it'll give you that will show you how, like, what your dependencies are and how far away are you from being able to rev to a modern version of .NET. Like, what are the risk areas to look at? The Copilot infused one, yeah, not an offline related option, which is disappointing. Very disappointing. But yeah, it does come back down to the idea of it uses your existing GitHub Copilot license. So as long as you have a license there, you should be good to go. This one here, Mads Christensen, not to be confused with Mads Thorgensen, as many people do. This one this is on my watch list of things to go back through and do, because I want to, this one for Visual Studio as well as NuGet, these both look very exciting to me. This was the closing keynote on Thursday. This one's just funny, frankly. So Scott Hanselman is usually entertaining regardless of what he is in, right? So it's good there. I also felt like, because the first 2 days keynotes were very much, we'll call it hype train, this one I felt like brought the AI message into reality, right? Like, here's the hype. Like, the first two keynotes were, here's all the hype, and then this one was, okay, now we're going to actually do one of the most important tasks that humanity needs: retrieve a pop off of a table and deliver it to a human, right? That is a very important task, one that I thoroughly support. I support AI being able to deliver me a Mountain Dew. That is an important task. They used Coke, it's fine. I can repurpose it. But no spoilers, it's funny to watch, and it shows the current state of a lot of the AI stuff. So there are things that are really cool, and also I think accurately portrays the current state of where things are. Yeah, or a pizza. That's true. Like, we do need something that the Mountain Dew can wash down. So I'd accept a pizza. Yeah, CS proj less monoliths. Yeah, it is interesting. I don't know that they will ever go project less. The .NET Run, the bare C# part of the idea here, C# occasionally gets feature envy from other languages, and this is something from like Node or Rust or other ones where your build scripts are written in the language that you're looking to compile, which is kind of a cool thing that you can do where like I can just, cargo build, and if I find the right Rust file, it builds the thing. And what I can put in there is just Rust, which is like, it's kind of a nice way of being able to do that kind of thing. Now, not saying that you have to do it this way, but that was one of the driving factors, is trying to make it so that people who are familiar with those types of systems and want to structure their things to feel a little bit more that way, so that they have that same kind of way to do it. But Damien also demos in this session a really, like, they have an upgrade path. And this is one of the things I think they've done poorly in the past, is they'll introduce a new feature. And the problem is if you once it comes time to grow up and do a real app that's beyond demo, where it's like, well, okay, now you got to do all the stuff. It's like, that's fine, but that leaves kind of a bad taste in your mouth. It's like, why don't I have a nice upgrade path, right? So it's one of those situations where this one, they actually have an upgrade story for, which is he demos, and it's pretty cool. So I won't spoil it, but it is pretty cool, and it makes me very excited for .NET 14, right? So that one is very much on the list. I will warn you, there's like 56 different ones in here. Hanselman and Taub, I unfortunately was working the booth at the point this one went on, but this is on, you can see I've started. This is on my list of ones to get through because, one, Hanselman's entertaining, and two, Stephen Taub, I think, is considered the foremost expert on everything like performance and TPL and similar. Like, the man's brilliant. Like, and he has no concept of what a blog post length should be. For people who've seen his blog post, you know what I mean. Like, they are insane. Yeah. Let's see. I quite like the packages bit instead of putting that in the CS proj. That way any unused ones can be stripped out easier. Yeah. And that's the thing, is it's because there's a nice upgrade story, it seems like we're getting towards that point where it's like you can structure it the way you want. Because we already have a little bit of some packaging stuff, and some of it, I wanted to compare it to the syntax that they had put into the .NET Interactive, because I think it's fairly close to that, because that's something that's very similar in a lot of languages like Jupyter Notebooks and similar, to be able to bring that kind of stuff in. And I think that's what they did in .NET Interactive, which is awesome. Let's see here. What were the other ones that were excellent? The problem with me working the booth is I ended up not doing them. This one here is another one. So this will don't watch this one until after next Tuesday if you're coming to my user group talk. This will spoil some of it. So don't spoil it. But I was actually talking to Mads right before he went and did this talk, because he was down at the .NET booth where I was at, and so we were chatting C# and the stuff that's up and coming, and it's very cool. Like the new C# 14 stuff, the short version extension, everything is probably going to be the flagship feature in November. Right? We've had extension methods for a while. This is, I want to extension more things. So this is going to be the Frozen Fusion. Welcome, Arizona. It's probably a lot warmer down there than it is up here. It's actually supposed to be, I think, 90 on Saturday. This evening we were at a rehearsal for a wedding for some friends of ours, because my kids are going to be the bearer of the ring, and yes, he is dressed as Frodo. And then a flower girl. So it will be quite epic. Let's see here. I was looking for the one from C# Fritz. This playwright one is great. I sat through this one in person once again. I was right down in front of the camera, heckling away. But this one is very good if you are interested in playwright, especially their demo at the end of having an MCP server actually interact with Playwright was pretty slick. Especially for people who have spent a bunch of time fighting with UI tests, it was kind of cool. Like it was kind of slick to see it go. There was one. I'm surprised it's not in here. So Jeff Fritz, or C# Fritz online, did a really cool 15-minute lightning talk where he did Playwright with Aspire. And it was basically, I want to do UI testing with Playwright. I have an app. I'm going to host it in Aspire. I'm going to use Aspire as the host to be able to spin up my whole infrastructure locally to get it running so I can run my tests against it. It was a really nice demonstration of kind of putting all of the pieces together in a great one. 81 degrees at the moment in Arizona. Cool for the kiddos to be the ring bearers. Yeah, exactly. It'll be awesome. Oh boy, most important question. Izzy, you worry me when you lead like that. But yeah, I think those ones are some of my favorite. Did they mention any WPF updates? There were. So, did they announce them on any stage? I think the answer is no. There was no direct WPF booth. There was technically a Windows desktop development booth, and there was a .NET booth. I was in the .NET booth, and there was, I think, 3 people that came up to talk WPF, and only one that did it while I was there, which was very disappointing to me. Because the number of WPF updates are fairly low. Like, they do have a so on the What's New in .NET page, is this going to get me there? This is here. One of these there is a small amount of, what's new in WPF and .NET 10. So this is the sum total of everything that is expected to be in WPF and .NET 10. So on one hand, and this was one thing to point out to people, like Microsoft has said that they are committed to WPF, that it is not going away. And there are updates. Now, admittedly, you look at these, there's not a lot of updates here. The team working on this is kind of small, right? A lot of the stuff is they're updating their default theming to Fluent, which is great, unless you're using my material design library, in which case it's like, eh. But, a couple nice little things around the clipboard, not binary formatter going away, great. Like, fixing some bug stuff, great. Like, for the most part, if you're doing WPF development, the short version is if you rev to .NET 10, you're going to pick up all of the .NET improvements that are in the BCL, which is usually good. You're going to pick up all of the compiler and performance improvements there, which is good, right? Like, those ones always come through. And there might be a handful of small WPF things that you notice. And that's about it, right? So They cleaned up some of their performance, because remember, WPF was released the same year Microsoft released generics. So WPF was built without generics because it wasn't done yet. So, like, there's been a lot of stuff in there, like, around performance and boxing and similar. So some of these things, it's like, great, right? Like, I don't doubt that they got a nice little performance bump by scrapping all of the boxing operations that we're going through. Yeah, and all the new syntactic sugar, 100%. And I don't know if you saw it, Izzy, but my talk on Tuesday, this is my first demo CS proj. Like, just going to point this out. .NET 10 target framework, Lang version 1. It's going to be fun. I'm going to have a hoot. It's going to be epic. So I actually took pictures while I was at the build conference. So one of the things, so for anybody who's thinking of going to a Microsoft conference, one of the things I usually tell people is prioritize, if you are in person, prioritize things that you can't stream later online. So I oftentimes don't necessarily attend a huge number of the sessions unless I have a reason to, like, because there is something different about the sessions watching the recording versus being in person. There's 100% something different. So if it's something I really care about, I'll attend the session. Or if I have a reason to, like, want to try to connect with the speaker, I'll definitely go to this session, because those are things you can't do after the fact online, right? But if it's just I want the content from the session, yeah, I'm probably skipping it and doing something else. One of the things that Microsoft offered there was certification tests, so I went and took a cert test and passed. So woohoo, yay, that was fun. So I have another cert on my name. One of the things that they set up because it's Microsoft's 50th anniversary this year, right? So if we back up 50 years, that's 1975. I was not born yet. But they had set up this. Oh, thank you, Frozen Fusion. Yeah, it was good. Like, so for people, maybe I'll comment on this. For people who haven't done a Microsoft cert before, here's the things to know about. So AZ104. So like, for example, this is the one I did. Azure Administrator Associate. So level intermediate. So first thing to know about Microsoft certs, you cannot treat the number like AZ104 as like the same way you would treat like a college class, or university classes, right? Because in the US, our university classes, like 100 levels are your first years, 200 levels are your second years, 300 levels are your third years, and 400s are your fourth years. That's generally how it goes, right? Microsoft clearly hasn't gotten the memo on that. And you will note, this is a 100 level thing, but it's intermediate. So like, their numbering scheme is wacky. So just keep that in mind. But if you want to go through and do it, the one thing to note, the system that they go through gives you access to Microsoft Learn. It is not a full browser. If Microsoft Learn has a link that would take you outside of Microsoft Learn, even to another Microsoft page, it'll block it, right? Some of the questions, in my opinion, are kind of crap if you didn't have access to Microsoft Learn, because they will ask detailed questions about which pricing plan would allow you to do the following. It's like, oh dear heavens, I don't know. I look up the price. Like, frankly, I do what everyone else does. When I care, I do not commit the features to each individual pricing plan on every Azure service. No, like, I don't have that kind of brain power. What I do is I go and look them up. And so you have access to Learn, and sometimes you can literally find the pages word for word where it's like, okay, this is the page somebody clearly lifted this question from. The practice for the exam isn't bad, but when you go through and take it, the thing I would say, some of it is just basic test taking skills of eliminate the obvious answers that are wrong, because sometimes there's answers in there that are just buzzwords that don't logically make sense. Or if you know a little bit about the service, it's like, no, that's clearly not accurate. So there's a bit of that kind of thing of what it's going to go through and do. They will give you a breakdown if you end up failing of where you succeeded and passed. I passed, let's just say not by much. Enough to pass, but there was not nearly the buffer between the pass fail line and my score. There was not a very big buffer, but I passed it. But it is worth going through and being familiar with all of the systems. And I went in and took this on a whim. Like, I was like, I do enough of this stuff day to day. I think I have a good handle on most of this. I'm rubbish at tests. It depends too on how quick you can look stuff up. I think some of it, what I would say is if you do the practice tests and you get somewhat familiar with how they've organized Microsoft Learn, you can do pretty, like, in some ways it's how quickly can you search Microsoft Learn without Google, right? You can't search, you have to use the built-in search. So if you know how to do that and glean information quickly, you can get through a lot of it. Because I use probably like 75% of the service that I was being quizzed on, and the rest of it, I'm like, I'll just go and look it up. Like ARM templates, I don't hardly ever use ARM templates. This is not an area of strength for me. And I'm sitting there, and there was questions about what does this function do inside of an ARM template? And I'm like, I got no freaking idea. Now I can guess based on the name that it's, but there was one, I'm trying to remember what it was. It was a function around like getting the index of a count or something. And it was asking, effectively the question was, is this 0 based or 1 based? I'm like, this is such a stupid question. I don't know. One, I would probably just run the template and look whether I got a 0 or a 1. But ultimately I just hunted Microsoft Learn to find it. So, but if you're interested, they are very worthwhile. They do make you renew every 12 months, but the renewal test is stupid easy. It's like 20 questions, full open book in your browser. Like, if you can Google, you can pass the renewal. Like, it's hard to fail. And I think they let you do that 1 or 2 times before they make you retake a full test. And the updated questions are usually focused just on what's changed in the last year. So they try to keep things updated, which is nice. All right, so did a cert test. They did not, they're like, oh, do you want a picture? And I said yes before realizing what the question actually was. Because though the nice lady took my phone to take a picture, what they did not tell me is they had a box of these Happy New Year streamers, and they were about to like shout the same way like they do sometimes in restaurants when you tell them it's your birthday. They didn't tell me that was about what was going to happen. But yeah, and I got a mouse pad out of it. So, huzzah. So that was fun. This computer lab was cool because they had set it up to look like 1975. These are sleeper computers. Like, they were made to look old. Like, they had the little concave CRT look to these screens, but these are actually flat screens that they have just artificially buzzed it. But, like, it was cool. You got to go through. If you knew a little bit of BASIC, it was quite helpful, which I did BASIC a very, very long time ago, and it looks like my old office. Oh boy, is he? Yeah. Like, I had done a little bit of BASIC way back before I even went to university. Somebody for one of my birthdays had got me a poor man's learn to program with BASIC type. It was more gamey than it was actual programming, but it kind of taught some of the basic CS concepts. And I'm sitting there scratching my head trying to remember what the heck I had learned in that. But it was very much new tech made to look like old tech and slapped in an old case. But it was fun. Like, you got to get the phone up and working, and then the phone would ring, and there was Scott Hanselman's voice on the other end, telling you what to do next. And you got a little badge at the very end, made to look like the old Microsoft stuff. So it's stuff like this where it's like, I couldn't do that. Good old days. Yeah, exactly, Izzy. And that was the thing. It's like, I hadn't done like real basic stuff. And the closest I had done is I had messed around. One of my first jobs, not a programming job. It was at a motorcycle shop of all places, but they found out I knew tech. And so I became the IT guy. But it was Wise 50s terminals on an old Unix server, which was so cool. Like, it was one of those, that was one of my first introductions to actually doing something on a Unix system, because every month we would get updated disks or floppies or whatnot mailed to us, where you had to go and load in the updated part numbers and everything for all the new stuff from the various manufacturers. And it was like, oh, like, it wasn't terribly difficult, but like, I was the only one in the company who actually knew any tech. So this was a fun thing. It took a little while to get through because you can see they only had 4 terminals going. And so, like, at the point, I had lined up for it the first day, and the line just didn't move for like 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, dear heavens. There's like 30 people in front of me. I'm coming back later. Yes. And I don't think I took a picture of it. They actually had some of the legit old school, like, actual floppy drives, like, sitting there. They had gone all out to make this thing look good. Like, even some of the little stuff was pretty cool to see. And I don't know how much of it was legit old stuff that they had or stuff that they just made to look old later, but they had some old retro tech out in another location in some cases, and they so the very first Xbox, I still have mine. And I when I was younger, to be funny, because the old Xboxes, the original ones, they had a little green LED around the power button. And if that thing ever turned red, it meant that your system was toast, right? As a joke, I disassembled my Xbox, pulled off the green LED, and soldered a red LED in its place. So my old Xbox always red rings. I thought I was being funny, but they had, red ring of death, exactly. And I thought I was being funny because then, people come over, press the button, they think your Xbox is broken. Ha ha ha. No, I just, changed the LED. But it was one of those, I saw that sitting there in a classic case, and I'm like, this makes me feel really old. It's like, you jerks. And then, so Anders, got to meet him and chat with him for a little bit. That was cool. This guy is Chet Husk. Again, this is one of the things that I focused on, was trying to make connections with people, things that you can't do remotely. Like, it's much easier. All I have is a gray PlayStation, lots of wires. Oh, a gray one. Oh boy, is he. That is the old one. Yeah, so Chet Husk, he runs the .NET CLI, MS Build. I'm trying to remember. He told me exactly. He has a title of all the stuff that he's over. It's like the .NET tooling stuff. There's a bunch of stuff that falls into him. I've worked with him on a few projects online, and this is the first time we've ever met in person. Frozen, sorry. Sorry, my Nightbot is a little aggressive. This is Maddie. Most people will know her from being a PM on the Maui team. But she is no longer on the Maui team. She is on the Aspire team. But she was emceeing for one of the theater rooms right next to the place I was at, and so it was cool to see her. It was good to just touch base with people. Now, here is a name or a face that people probably won't recognize. Now, one, I am fairly tall. I'm 6'2.5" ish, give or take a little bit. Depending on what shoes I wear, I get myself to 6'3" on a good day. Right? This is Sergio. Now, people may not know this name, but if you're watching these videos, you absolutely know his work. This is the guy responsible for the MVVM Community Toolkit, right? That's the guy. I was so excited when I saw it, because again, first time I've ever seen him in person, and I was like, dude, we gotta talk. So I fanboyed for a little bit, and got a picture from him and whatnot, and we talked on the Community Toolkit, and it was kind of fun because he did a talk. I believe it's in that playlist. all good, Frozen, all good. No, it's my Nightbot gets aggressive at times. But no, he did he had a great session showing off some of their new stuff, and they did show WPF in his session. It was a little more focused on WinUI and the new stuff, but a lot of it was, hey, let's show you how to update your app using the MVVM Community Toolkit. There's one kind of cool thing that's coming with the Community Toolkit and latest C# is we're getting partial properties. So rather than needing to decorate a field with the observable property, you can actually decorate a partial property with the observable property attribute and get the same thing. So that's kind of nice. Rather than trying to explain to people the difference between properties and fields, you could just give them the one thing and say, yeah, slap this partial word in here to make all the source generators work, and it goes. So yeah, nice guy, really great to talk to. He was fun. And then this is somebody most of you will probably not know. This is Austin. I had never met Austin before. Austin, hi, if you're watching. Austin watches my stream, and I was tickled to death, frankly, to have somebody who actually knew me from Twitch come up and say hi. So he caught me in a session. It wasn't like he had planned to go to the session that I spoke at, but the day prior accidentally just bumped into me in one of the sessions because, shocking, we both like the same stuff. At 6 foot, you have a great view of my Cruella de Vil strip that leads to my bald spot, and I'd probably just make out your shoulders through the clouds. I've got an idea of how tall you are, Izzy. 2'1", give or take a little bit, maybe a little more. But yeah, so it was cool. It was nice. So for anybody watching, if you see me out in public or at a conference or whatever, please say hi. It makes me feel good, and I love it. So It's always cool. So we had a great chat because unfortunately the session I spoke at was a community session, so it wasn't 5'12". I love it. We have another word for that. It's called 6. But yeah, so the community session I was at was all basically sharing the perspective of what does it mean to be a Microsoft MVP. So me and 3 other MVPs kind of presented our stories of how we became MVPs. And it was one of those, we weren't really sure because they had left a decent chunk of time at the end for Q&A. And that's always weird because if nobody comes with any questions, it just feels awkward because then you just kind of end early. And so it's like, oh man. And so, but like Justin, the guy who is one of the people who oversees the MVP program, he was great moderator, and he had kind of come with some leading preparatory questions and whatnot, just to make sure that there was something to fill the time if we needed, and we didn't need any of it. Like we had people asking lots of questions, people stuck around later to talk. It was really shocking to me because our session, I didn't realize this, was going to overlap with lunchtime. So people actually delayed getting food to come listen to us talk, which I was flattered about because frankly, I don't know if I would have given up food in exchange for listening to me speak. But I can listen to myself talk pretty much whenever I want. So with that said, it was actually really fun. So there was, I think it was kind of hard to tell. 20-ish people maybe, because we were near the community area had like a lot of tables and chairs, so it was kind of unclear how many people were watching and paying attention versus just present. So that was a little awkward. I had a couple colleagues come in and listen. They said it was great, so I'm gonna believe them because I have no reason not to. But yeah, so I can't stand listening to myself ever. Don't ever do streaming, Izzy, because unfortunately that's what a lot of streaming is sometimes just listening to yourself talk. And sometimes I feel like I just need to get it out of my system. But yeah, so that was the build conference from my perspective. So I'll share this link again. This is the playlist. You can obviously go and find a lot more sessions on a lot of other things. In my opinion, and if you're watching my stream, these are the sessions that are most applicable to the stuff that I like to do, right? C# developer tools. There's obviously a bunch of MCP related stuff and similar that are littered throughout here. But it was very much a worthwhile session. I'm still surprised I don't see Jeff Fritz's session in here. I may have to go hunt that one down. Because that one was very, very good. The only thing I was a little, and I went up to him and talked to him afterwards. If you find it and watch it, I will warn you, because he uses various cities in his sample. You know, Seattle, Chicago, where he's from, and then he said Spokane, and I was a little disappointed because it's Spokane, where I'm from. So I realized he was in Washington State. He's not from Washington State. Like usually, like where I'm from, there's a lot of Native American names of landmarks, cities, roads, etc. And so oftentimes that's how we pick out who the locals are, is like some of them just like the letters and the sounds don't line up. Like they just don't. And so it becomes real easy to pick out who got it right and who got it wrong. Like Spokane, like it's spelled Spokane. Like that is how it is spelled. I get why people do it, but it's one of those, it's just off. Coeur d'Alene, Pend Oreille, like all of these ones are various ways that we like to test who the locals are. It's always fun to be able to do that. So I went up to him afterwards. I'm like, great presentation. One small bit of feedback. And I got we joked about it. It was all good. But yeah, it was like, oh man, that one thing just, and I'm sure like me and a colleague, I think might have been the only two people from Spokane that were in the audience. It's like, I got to say something. I got it. So yeah. Okay. Okay. Last thing there, on the note of all of the co-pilots, I've teased this out before, this GitHub Copilot global boot camp that Intelitech is doing. I'm the primary presenter. So If you're sick and tired of listening to me talk, this is not the event for you because there will be a lot of that. But we have opened it up online as well. So if you are interested, whether if you're in person, even better, right? But if you'd rather just do it online as well, that is an option. Do note that these times are Pacific Standard Time. So this is going to be coming up later in June. So 3 hours of working through GitHub Copilot, AI-assisted coding. This is, we intentionally kind of waited. Well, Microsoft wanted it in June, but the timing of it was very intentional to have it come after Build. That way, all of the announcements from Build could kind of be brought in as part of this, right? So, which there's a lot of cool stuff that came from the AI stuff in Build. I think the thing that most excites me is just the agent mode of Copilot in Visual Studio, I think, is probably one of my favorites. In fact, I can just show this. So like earlier today, I had a situation where I had written a GitHub action, right? But I was wanting to do something similar, but in Azure DevOps. I literally just brought the file and said, "Hey, Copilot, convert this." And it to be clear, it didn't get it right, but it got it like 80% right, which saved me a significant period of time because that was 80% I just had to spot check rather than having to fix. So like that is there. If you have GitHub Copilot, and you can grab the free tier stuff as well. 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. Maybe I should get my camp bed for office on that day. Izzy, I will say this. If it were at 2 a.m., that would be a hard sell for me to get up that early. I would give you a pass for not coming. Initially we were only doing in person, and then we had enough requests for online. We're like, you know what? We're set up for streaming. We might as well. Let's try to make this happen, right? Like for a while we had constant AV issues around our streaming stuff, and I'm not saying that they've solved all of them, but they've solved a good chunk of them. And so we're much more likely to have a good recording of it to be able to go through and do as well. So that much is exciting. So but the big thing, right, for Copilot, right? And let me move myself out of the way so I'm not blocking it. Because darn it, I don't know what is up with Visual Studio. I don't know why this is controversial. Solution Explorer on the left, Copilot Chat on the right. I don't know why this is hard. Like, this is the way it feels very natural, but yet apparently I'm in the minority. I don't understand why. I think this is normal. But the ability to be able to go through and leverage Copilot inside of Visual Studio, just like you could inside of VS Code, is one of the big changes. So this, you're saying no, Izzy. Was that to my positioning in Visual Studio? I don't know why. Like this is the way it is meant to be. It feels natural. I realize it's not the default, and I am in the abnormality, right? But having access to Copilot in here, you've got access to various models of whichever one you want to use. Again, it's tied to your GitHub Copilot subscription. So, for example, but there is there is a Get Started for free. I don't remember exactly what it is. It's like 2,000 GitHub Copilot and bin Solution Explorer on the right. I will say it is getting, and I actually had a long debate with my boss over it recently, because my opinion is that, like, I think AI is overhyped. That closing keynote from Scott Hanselman and Mark Rakinovich, I'm probably butchering his last name. I can never say it properly. I think gave a very accurate picture. And I realize, Scott and Mark learn to live, right? Yeah, keynote. I think they gave an accurate picture of the current state of where AI is at. And I think it is an amazing tool that developers should absolutely learn to leverage, but it's just that. It is a tool. Like I am not sold on the idea that it's going to replace developers and all of that stuff. I think there are times it has saved me significant time and effort, which is great. Like that's what a tool should do. And I think it has taken several classes of problems that were previously difficult to impossible and made them trivial. Like there is a lot of cases of things that we can now do that we couldn't do prior, which is great, right? Like they have commoditized, made it a commodity. I don't know the right word. Yeah, shoehorning into everything is a massive problem. Yeah, completely agree, Mini 4G. Like I think in that regard, it is a bad solution, right? Like we joke with a lot of our clients that nobody needs another chatbot. Like nobody wants that, right? Now, leveraging AI to like looking at your existing workloads and workflows and saying, okay, is there anything in this workflow that we did because, you know, maybe parsing the intent out of a document was previously hard, right? Or extracting key bits of data from this was hard because we couldn't do it in an expert system-y type way. Like examining your existing workflows to see where it might actually provide value, I think that's a good use of it, right? Like we've got a system that we've been building where it parses documents that are somewhat arbitrary, but it pulls out key values that it needs from it and then surfaces those up to the user. It's like, great. Like it's not another chatbot. It's not like the user's still in the loop. They can review the document and they can do all this stuff to double check, but it saves on them having to scan and try to find it, right? The AI has already kind of picked out and gone, ooh, I think this is the thing, right? It's like, good, right? Make the user more efficient, but don't just shove it everywhere. And I think that's the thing is, if it's approached that way, with the human still being the key thing, it's not replacing developers. It's elevating developers. Like I spent a great deal of time putting together a presentation last week, and there was a lot of just boilerplate stuff where I'm like, I don't want to do like. I had a task where it was like, okay, we've got all of these user stories in an Excel spreadsheet. We need to get these onto a nice graph and grouped according to this. And I'm like, I don't want to like. I would have much preferred to hand that over to like M365 Copilot and said, just do this, make it so, right? Like I think that's good use of AI. But a lot of the stuff that people are shoehorning it in is not good use of it. And again, making people more efficient and faster, that'd be great. Like if I could have finished that presentation a little bit quicker so I could have gone back and spent more time coding, I would have been happier. Like that's what I want AI to do, is take the crap away from me. Yeah. My biggest bugbear is in the coding versus debugging layout. By default are too different and a bit jarring when it swaps mid-play. Oh, yeah, the Visual Studio layout. So I agree. And I actually wish that Visual Studio didn't have different layouts for debugging versus editing. I wish I could tell it just have one. But you can change them both, and I generally will change them both. And I'll move the Solution Explorer over, I'll hit debug, it'll move back to the right, I'll be annoyed, while debugging, I'll drag it back to the left and go, back to normal. My world is complete. Because yes, I agree, like it's annoying. Like I get why they did it, but I feel like that different layout for debugging versus editing, like I'm trying to remember when that got introduced in Visual Studio. It was old. It was really old, because the very first version of Visual Studio I ever touched was Visual Studio 2003, which is, I think, the second or third edition of Visual Studio that was there. But like that was the first one, and I think it existed all the way back then. I'm trying to remember, like it's been in there for a long time, and I am wondering if that It's things like that where it's like I would love to see them revisit some of like those old assumptions and say, is that is the reasons we did this still valid or not, right? Or are we just doing it because that's what we did before? So, but yes, I will say I do think Copilot is very useful and can be very helpful for certain tasks. And having AI work on a task, like they demoed assigning bugs to Copilot, which was cool, right? Like it's nice that you can go and assign tasks. I do question because in their demo they had these well-written tickets. Now, some of us are fortunate enough to work with, PMs that write well-written tickets. Based on my experience, I think that's maybe about half the companies in the world have well-written tickets. And it's only because they have some PM who does a really good job. That's usually the make or break it, right? You got a PM that knows how to write a really good ticket. They've got enough tech knowledge to write it correctly, technically speaking, right? Because that's the thing, is I think the idea that you can assign a ticket to Copilot to work on assumes that there's enough information in the ticket for Copilot to be able to do the right thing, right? And I don't know that that's always true. Like some tickets, absolutely. Like there's been several projects I've worked on where the PM would file tickets of, oh, I want this text changed over here, right? Those are the types of bugs I would love to just feed to the AI and say, yeah, I trust the AI to go change the text on a button. That's fine, right? Even localized, it can probably figure itself out. Like it should be okay, right? Maybe not, but we'll review the PR after it does its work rather than worrying about it up front. That's fine. But I do question how valuable that will be because it assumes, my PMs have not got a clue and are more able to organize the pub visit regardless of success. Yeah, and that was the thing that got me thinking when they demoed it is like this is a cool demo and it demos really slick. Like the demo they set up. So if anybody wants to see it, go watch Satya's keynote presentation, and because Satya comes out, and I'm trying to remember the lady that came out after him, but like watch the whole thing end to end because they do it kind of in parts, but it made for a sick demo. Like it was an awesome demo. Don't get me wrong, but it did get me thinking of like practically where would I deploy this? When would I leverage this as my solution? Would this be something that I would go through and do? And I just don't know. I don't know how many places I have. I think maybe about half. Would I trust the PM's description for the AI, right? Like because the running joke I think for people for a while has been, AI won't take our jobs until people can accurately describe what it is that they want, right? Like that. It's like, yeah. Garbage in, garbage out. Like the AI can kind of smooth over some rough edges, but if you tell it to go right when what you actually needed was left, like I don't see it solving those types of like it's got enough trouble just trying to do the right thing once it's got enough information. It's not gonna 180 on you to land in the right thing. Like it might 180 when you don't want it to, but I highly doubt it 180s and lands on the correct answer ever. Like that's not really plausible. So yeah. So with that said, that Copilot bootcamp, I think that's one of the key things that like I think this is something that people absolutely should learn how to do because this is an awesome new tool that can greatly improve your life. But I think that's as far as I'm willing to go. Now, admittedly, that's a pretty big statement, right? Brand new development tool, like this is like better than like some new IDE stuff, right? Like this is a big deal. Being able to have this kind of insight and information, and in the really happy cases, being able to task it and say, yeah, go convert my YAML to DevOps because I don't want to think about this too hard, right? Like I've already figured out the hard stuff. Just change the syntax for me, right? I don't want to go look up, what's the right syntax for this in DevOps. Just make it happen, right? And it did a really shockingly good job. I was a little disappointed. It flattened because I had done all my new lines to line things up properly, and it removed those and got them all in one line. I'm like, dang nabbit, and I had to go put my CLI commands back because, an AZ command that has like 30 parameters, I don't want that on one line. I'd like to break that up so I can actually read it like a human. AI couldn't care less about what I want and then proceeded to flatten it. And I'm like, dang nabbit, so I put it back. But again, it got most of the way there. It did a good job. And I was like, well, that's good. But yes, there is a free GitHub Copilot. And so this is going to be for that talk what people are going to be. If people want to follow along, they are going to be expected to have their own GitHub Copilot account, whether that be a free one or a paid one. My fear is that people will have a free one and have like prior burn through too many tokens to get through everything. That's my fear. So if you're watching this and you're planning on coming, don't sign up for a free account and then go burn all your tokens. What I want in DevOps YAML, AZ do API at 0. Would do API just invoke API? Because I will say, if it's an Azure API, you can get away with it with the AZ REST stuff. If it's not an Azure one, as do API. Oh, got it. Right. Azure DevOps API. Yeah. Well, the Azure DevOps API is kind of a pain in the butt to use. We're doing a bunch of migrations for people right now and working with a lot of it calling its own APIs. Yeah. As in call its own APIs. Yeah. And you can do some of those because we actually have Azure DevOps pipelines to migrate people's Azure DevOps, whether that be Azure DevOps to Azure DevOps, because sometimes people are just, moving from one instance to another, or sometimes they're moving to GitHub, or they're coming from GitHub, or whatever, what have you. Like, we do a lot of those kind of migration things for people, because it's a pain in the butt to do well. I will say that. It is a pain in the butt, especially if somebody says, I want all the history. Like, that's really, if they just say, I want the data overcrossed, that's a lot easier than I want the data with all the change history. That makes it a lot harder. That makes it significantly harder. But yeah. So this is the demo that they did. Delegate like a boss. You know what? I wonder, do I have it enabled for like the material design project? Can I go and do this right now? Can I? No, I don't have it set up. I was going to say, I think you have to have an org thing with it enabled. Let's see, I have a load of scripts in order to get correct build number and versions from builds matched on GitHub branches. Yeah, I think that's fairly common for a lot of people. I need to look this up. This is assign myself. Let's put, I want to look this. Okay, so a couple things. I was gone, PR stacked up, things in progress, and I'm annoyed that this one's still outstanding. But let's see. Let's go through and get some of these things done. This we can do, right? Like, here's something I want GitHub to do. I want GitHub Copilot to review PRs. So I don't need this button anymore. Like, I think for this open source project, the risky things that I have in here is I do have a pat in the pipeline as a secret that has the ability to push to the repo. It can't deploy, but it can push. And the only reason I turn this on is because without it, in theory, somebody could exfil that secret. Right? I turn this on and I go in and check and I make sure, yep, not trying to exfil a secret. Good, approve workflows to run. Like, that's the that's the entire check that I'm making. And I wish, like, I would be even okay if Copilot, like, even if I just had the controls to say, you know what? If this thing isn't touching the pipelines or anything related to them, it's probably not trying to exfil a pipeline secret. Like, there are other ways they could do it, right? It doesn't have to be in the YAML, because in theory, if it got put into an environment variable, you could write some code in a test and exfil it there. Like, there's other ways you could do it, right? Like, there are ways to exfil the secrets. And we would not want somebody to exfil the secret, because, you know, they'd have push permission to the repo, and then I'd have to go regen the path, and that'd be annoying, right? So that's the whole reason for that button. I want Copilot to flag those. Yeah, and the issue I ran into is the on GitHub they run the token that the actions run with. You control at the repo level whether it has read or write, and by default it only has read permissions, and you can grant it write permissions. That is an option as well. But any action while an action is running, if the user is the generated system token, the actions that you are running will not trigger downstream actions, right? Without explicit calls and whatnot. And so in some of the cases, I was wanting, like, for example, when it pushes the icon updates, right? I want it to open the PR, and I want the act of it opening the PR to trigger the automation to run the builds, to then set auto merge to let it complete, right? Which is great. That's what I wanted. And the easiest way I found to do it is just gen a path, so that the user that's opening the PR is my system, is my, you know, service account effectively, so that it will autocomplete. The autocomplete will trigger the build and tests, so that the autocomplete meets its checks, so that it can complete all the way through. So, okay. What was this thing actually doing? Set the vertical to, there's no effect when, since the vertical alignment of part toggle is center, there is no effect when setting vertical alignment. Oh, right, because this thing has a vertical alignment of center. The content it means the content alignment is always going to be there. There's no way to align the content, say, right or left. Got it. Good catch. That is a good catch. Put this in labels. That's a bug fix, it looks like. Enable auto merge, confirm auto merge. It's got an approval. Great. Let's see. Ooh. Code inspection shows some errors regarding design instance in the demo apps. This PR. Oh, sweet. Sweet, 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 sweet. Yeah, so this was almost assuredly when we converted over to a shared project. And this is just design time issues. So this is... So we're going to approve this. And this is going to be yet another one here. So let's see. This is going to be demo app. And that's probably good enough. Throw it in the milestone. Approve and run. And then enable auto merge. Enable auto merge. Boom, boom, boom. Bippity boppity booyah. Rock and roll. Dark mode not working anymore. What? Oh, let's... okay. So one... Joris is very good. And so if he says it's not working, in the demo app, dark mode is not applied anymore. UI stays in dark mode. Oh! I screwed this one up. This is... Oh, I bet you I already know what the fix is. This was my fault. This was my fault. I bet you it's the deletion of a line. Yep. Yep, this was me screwing this up, because yep, I did this. Yep. Okay, this is one of those areas where I kind of want to put in a XAML test against the demo app just to fix this. So let's see, this was demo app. Slap this in the milestone. We may kick this milestone loose because this has got a lot of stuff in it. Getting big fast. Okay, add template binding padding. Let's see here. So pulls the padding up, template binding it down there, template binding it there, pulls it up to the setter. Let me just make sure that these go inside of it. Like, this is a beautiful example of, it's one of those, you want your custom styles to be as configurable as possible, but like, I think sometimes people forget that sometimes things just straight hard-coded, and rightfully should be, right? But things like padding, yeah, it's probably something that we want to enable. Because if a control has a padding property on it, like this chip, if this padding property isn't consumed anywhere in the template with a template binding, setting it has no effect, which is exactly the use case we have here. I just want to make sure of where this is going into. So this is outline chip. I think that's fine. I don't think there's any more below this. I think, yeah, that's the end of them. Okay, I thought that was all of them. This is great. Okay, so that goes there, that goes there, and this is this feels more enhancement-y. And I'm gonna actually flag that as a release note item, because that feels like the type of thing that has bitten other people in the past to do. Legend, how are we doing? Welcome to the stream. Good to have you. Okay, treeless view selected items. That's the one that we looked over before. That thing's merging. Okay. Let's see. This guy needs to be rebased and done. So we're going to go through and let's take care of this T-unit thing and hopefully put this down. Okay, so let's get my master updated. Ba-ba-bum. Okay, and then where's my local branches? I think I have Oy vey, I got to clean up my local branches. I got way too many local branches. Yeah, so let's go here. And then we'll rebase it. Man, why is my Nightbot so aggressive tonight? Sorry, Legend. I need to go. Let me see if I can get that guy turned off. Because I feel like it has been more problematic than helpful tonight. Yeah, I know. No, it's not your fault. It is being just a little there. See here. Here. There is there. So there. That should. Where is the button? Let's see. Where's the button to? Maybe I'm just an idiot. Well, that should turn it all the way off. Okay, well, there. That, I think, is going to... Cold branches. Yeah, that is exactly what we need here. I have a few too many. I have way too many. But let's get this guy, because we need him. We've got a conflict, mostly because I've touched every test file. So, let's see here. We probably just want to take the master side of the fence. Well, we definitely need this line, regardless of what the other ones do. I think what I can do, though, is let's just do... Oh, did those in the wrong order. Let's back this out. Let's take this side of the fence. But then let's come down here, since we know that it's just going to be arguments, and fix this. Oh, myself on the right. Wait a minute. Why is it not doing the... Oh, there's a bug there. There's a bug there. Hold on. Let's back out. There's a bug there. The multi-cursor support does not work. That is, I will file that bug with GitKraken in a moment. There we go. See, now the emotes are working better. I apologize for that. I think I took all of the defaults when I set up the Nightbot stuff, and it's probably a good example of the defaults not being appropriate. Let's see. So we want the... Well, once again, I want this, but I want to await them. Because assert equal expected value, get value, that's probably better. Okay. Continue the rebase. What did I do here? Let's see here. So we want this side of the fence. No, we want to assert that. Yeah, so that's the change. Okay. So I clearly one of those commits was partway through my regex find and replace. There we are. Okay, so wake up. Wake up, Visual Studio. It's time for you to go to work. Time for you to go to work. Let's start with this. Do we compile the very first test? Is the compiler happy? Here, I can go on the left now. Go, go, Visual Studio. Visual Studio noises. You know, that's something that they haven't had in Visual Studio. There used to be sound effects in Visual Studio. There used to be sounds for some of these things. And then at one point in time, they teased out something that would do a like a build failure or similar. JC, welcome. Welcome, welcome. So we're going to fix these up because these are probably all just tests that have been written. Assert that is equal to bananas. Oh, wait, assert that is equal to bananas. There we go. What's your problem? Oh, this is not an A. This is not a asynchronous thing, but oh, sweet. This thing just converted properly. Oh, I love it. 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 Okay, so that worked out there. Then at some point we're going to run all these tests. I converted a project over earlier today in my day job to using MTP, so Microsoft Testing Platform, because my colleagues were probably like, what is MTP? Because, you know, all of the excitement around MCP, and Microsoft figured MTP wouldn't confuse anybody. It's like, oy vey, guys. Oy vey. Oy vey, you are going to make yourself hard. Yeah, but I did not convert them to TUnit because that would have probably been a bridge too far. But getting them, I teleporter. Yeah. Like, I will say, though, TUnit, I think, is my new favorite testing framework. If we get time, I want to go through and convert over my .NET templates. I'm trying to decide, like, all of my .NET templates, I'm going to add MTP to because there's no reason not to just turn it on for all your test projects. The only disadvantage, like for new projects, absolutely, turn it on from the beginning, go. If you have an existing project, depending on what your test framework is, you may have to do a little bit of work. Like XUnit, you can't be on XUnit v2, you have to be on XUnit v3. So they're like, if you've got a big investment elsewhere, it may not be a trivial switch, but a lot of them, it's rev the package, turn the properties on. Let's see, got a Velopack question for you. Sweet! After a recent update, the locator param to update manager can't be null, which shows the problem. If you update Velopack to latest, what changes should be made? Uh, no, in this case, Legend, Nikolai is one of my other maintainers, so this link I trust because I recognize his GitHub ID. Let's see. So yes, this was an intentional change that got made. So my partner Kaylin and I were discussing the issues with Velopack, and we had some debate. There was a long debate. And it came down to iLogger was a big motivator behind it. My opinion, iLogger is simple and trivial. However, I am not your average developer, and there was a big debate about how to expose logging, and we kept getting bug reports from people who couldn't get the logging right and couldn't give good error logs when things went wrong. And so we eventually decided, you know what? We are going to fix the problem of not getting good logs when things go wrong. And so now there is a single log. So the big change and the driving factor behind this is now there is a single log file. If something goes wrong, if you provide the log file, we can usually say exactly what went wrong and why. That's the goal. Now, we may still miss a log statement here or there or whatnot, but that was the end goal. And it was like, but we had to scrap iLogger to make that happen. And so it was like, I didn't like it because I like iLogger and I think it's trivial, but other people didn't and couldn't, and we kept getting bad bug reports. So anyway, that was the motivation behind the change. Okay, so let's see. Check for update async. Check for default Velopack locator, update manager, and the... Let's see here. After a recent update, the locator param to update manager can't be null. Yes. Well, hold on. So just to be clear, is this the right repo? Yeah, this is the right repo. Scrap this. I'm on a detached head. Yeah, shut up. I want to check out this commit. All right, so this, let's see, check out this commit. I guess I could have just jumped to master too. So I assume what would be the effect on the local tree population? I know. JC, can you just confirm 1251, is that the release that you're referring to? That's the latest one we kicked out, so I assume that's the right one, but I just want to make sure I'm actually looking at the version that matters to you. Because I may challenge part of that assertion. But let me jump in here real quick. Update manager. I've actually been in the process of writing. Okay, perfect. I've been in the process of writing docs. So if you troll the docs repo, you'll see some samples of forthcoming stuff. So I've just been quietly pushing branches and just not saying anything. It's been great. Okay, so the locator should be nullable. Like, so you should be able to pass null in. Now you're going to end up with this velopack locator.current. And this guy, so there is the potential that there's a bug here, because there was a discussion on Discord of somebody who was calling out a potential problem, but we were waiting for more information because we can't reproduce the issue, and we think there might be a bug in their app code. This is one of the drawbacks, because Velopack puts the update flow in your hands. It means sometimes we get bug reports, and the problem is somebody's usage of the library, not the library itself. So another reason why we like that log file. But Velopack app build is expected to set this current, right? So it's expected to get through here. If you end up calling something like create default for platform, and you call this before you're called to Velopack app build, which is something that should happen as early in main as possible. So you shouldn't be calling this before this, but I've seen people do weird things. That's one possibility. But so if you've done Velopack app build early in main, you should be able to pass a null here, unless there is, let me just check. and it should just give you a default locator based upon your platform. That should be the expectation that inside of here, that current gets set, and current gets set because of an invocation that looks like this, which should be tied to whichever platform you're on, should give you one of these locators, which should find the right app. Let's see. Failing test 4 days ago. Oh man, you guys got tests and everything. Let's see, 4 days ago. Last week, so it must be this one. What's going on? What is going on? Okay. Sorry, I gotta back this up. I can't see the log file like this. Folks, settings. Wellpack updater, get current. Error test failed. Well, look at that. That certainly looks like it. Okay. Detour time. Detour time. Code. Copy. Clone. Paste. Open repo. Well, let's just go look at this then real quick. Let's see. This guy was which branch? One of the Dependabot ones? Dependabot NuGet BF84. The remote. Oh. Remote branch doesn't exist. Did it? The tour time. Yeah, exactly. JC, did this thing already merge? Or did it just not merge? I'm trying to look to see if I see. Oh yes, BF84. This one here. Interesting. Well, then it looks like main might be good enough. So let's. I amended branch. Got it. Okay. I'm gonna pop main then, and then. See here. I think I've opened this project before. Just update Velopack to fail. Got it. Well, that sounds like an easy test here, because there is going to be an updated release coming shortly. Oh dang it. Let's see. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so let's go here. Updates. Run Velopack. Update. Okay. Okay, and then is there any reason I can't just blind run all the tests? Are they fairly... None. Okay, cool. Build succeeded. DB test utils. That is not... Come on, find all the tests. There we go. There we go. This one looks like what I want. Settings view model. And then... Okay, no Velopack locator has been set. Okay, there we go. So... Oh, that's why this is failing. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so you're right. There is a behavioral change. There is a behavioral change because before this works at runtime, because I'm guessing if I go and look, you've got an overloaded main because this looks very similar to my template, right? Develop. Okay, so at runtime, this call will set up that property, but inside of the test, nothing has called to set that up. So in this case, I think then what we need is there is a, how do you do this? How do you do this nicely? So Velopack has a, was it a test locator? What do we call it? Test Velopack locator. So there is a, in the locator's namespace, there is an implementation in there that's specifically there for the purposes of unit testing, so that you can kind of pre-populate in whatever you want and have it work, right? That's the purpose of this guy, because we figured people were going to end up writing this implementation themselves anyway if we didn't give it to them, so we gave one in, right? So there is a test Velopack locator in there. So I think what you are looking to do then here is switch out and leverage that. I'm trying to look and see where this, this is just looking at a network drive for the update application. Yeah, because in here, what you actually want to do is on the test projects, you want to do, new test Velopack locator, right? And this gets around, and obviously then we have to populate this guy's constructor because he takes in some stuff, right, of doing the needful and whatnot, right? So, because if I do that, I assume this now gets me past the failure. But you are right. Oh, yeah, shut up. It's unhappy. Not a valid version string. But I am wondering if the issue is this line right here. Because as the old saying goes, new is glue. I'm really tempted to tell you to push your update manager and let your DI container handle it. Because what do we got here, right? This is my template, so it should have something down here where it's actually setting up configure application services. I assume all your DI stuff is here. There we are. Lovely. This is a very well organized app, by the way, JC. Nicely done. Let's see. DB, singletons, and we've got all this stuff registered. I'm like, this isn't a full solution here, but here, I'm just going to write out what I'm thinking, right? Actually, I guess for feature parity, singleton's wrong. Like, add transient, right? Transient, update manager, right? Because I'm kind of tempted to tell you to do this, of just push the update manager out. And part of the reason for doing that is if update manager were here, right? Yeah, thank you. Copied you in general. I will say it's made it very easy for me to navigate your application. Partly because, it looks like what I would expect, right? Because if the problem being is you're going to want a different locator for your running app than your tests, right? You're going to want those to be separate. And so no matter what value you put here is either going to be wrong for your tests or wrong for your app. And before, it wasn't validating this thing on the constructor. At least I don't think it was. So I'm tempted to tell you to do something more like this. So return new update manager, right? And then let's just grab this sucker here, right? Because this works at runtime just fine. Right? And then I would go as far, let's see, are you using release URL anywhere else? Private. Nope, that's the only usage of it. So I'm going to take this guy, and I'm going to put him over here too. Right? So if that goes there, this goes here. Right? So that sets up Update Manager to be in your DI container. I did it transient. It may not need to be, but at least then it matches because right now you were creating a new instance of it every time you create a settings view model. This way it'll only be created once every time it's needed, which is every time it's doing a settings view model. Right? We can take the Copilot suggestion there. We can probably put it up here to match the others, and then we no longer need this. Right? This guy is, I assume, squawking about read only. There we go. Right? So this gets you around there. Now, what it's not going to do is it's not going to fix. This should fix running the app, but it won't fix. Let's see, and then we don't need clean up the usings there. Don't worry. I will send this to you, JC, here in just a second when we're done. That way you can have it as well. Right? But then in here, what's going to end up breaking is this is no longer going to resolve because, well, or will it? Because AutoMocker is going to try, but it hasn't been given anything to know what to do on this. Because what you're going to end up wanting to have here is something like Mocker use new update manager. Update manager, right? And then this guy is going to be fake path, right? And then you can do locator gets new test. Test Velopack locator, right? And then this guy wants a valid version stream. So my app, right? We're just doing this for proof of concept. 1.1 or 1.0.0, right? And then packages dir packages. I wonder why packages dir is a required parameter. That feels like something we should be able to default. Okay, I might look at that. But now this I expect to actually work. Hey, Hari, nice to see you. Because I think something like this is what I would tell you to do. But you do raise an interesting concern. I was unaware of the behavior change because I knew that the locator change was very much intentional. The change in behavior with the constructor was like, we obviously knew we were doing it, but I didn't think I fully understood. I didn't grok the ramifications of the said change. But I think something like this is more akin to what you want to do, because now the update manager is in your control. The test Velopack locator is in your control, and you can now populate this in because AutoMocker is dumb, right? It doesn't think for itself. It just goes through and does type matching unless you do it otherwise. I am realizing, though, I could go one step further. Is it worth adding in a... No. I was going to say, because AutoMocker does come with behaviors, or not mock behaviors, resolvers. And a resolver is just a magical callback that you can use. So if you find yourself doing something like this a lot, I oftentimes will write myself a custom resolver and have the resolver do the needful, right? Like if I've got a particular behavior, it's like, yes, I did a custom DI registration that's kind of fancy in my main app, and I want my test to do something different. I'll sometimes just shove that into a resolver and then add that in to my AutoMocker as a workaround for this. But yeah. Okay. You wanted a PR. So let's fix that real quick because I didn't fork. I just cloned from a straight I just cloned straight from GitHub, but we can do this. So if I go fork and create fork, this should only take a few seconds. I don't believe you. There we go. And then all I need to do is add a remote. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at you. Look at you go, get cracking. Look at you go. Look at you go. Okay, then we'll make a new branch. We'll do something like velopack fix. All right, so we'll do this. Just gonna double check to make sure I did it. So I obviously haven't changed all of the things yet, but something akin to that. Let's see. Okay, Magical AI. Let's see. Updates Velopack package version. As Velopack update as a service. Okay. Yeah, that seems good enough. Great. Commit. Let's see. And then push and start pull request. Let's see. We're going to push and start a pull request back to your branch. Push and pull from. It should push and pull from my fork because I don't have permission to yours. And pull request open. And then there we go. There we are. Pull request open. Okay. Where wasn't I? Close that for now. Good question. Always love those. Okay, so what did I do here? Cool. Yeah, JC, if you got more questions, feel free to hit me up. You can also post them on the Discord. Like, I will say, the AI bot that we've got in our Discord is actually not that bad. It does a decent job. So it is pretty slick. This guy is annoying. Why does matrix method have a oh, this is matrix method. Where class is class. Oh, this is the wrong. This is name of primary colors, which is here. So I think this is actually, so I think the issue here is this is just the wrong generic. It just needs to know the class that contains the method, not the return type from the method. Okay, I have a sinking suspicion too. This is not going to like privates, but we'll see. We'll see if it handles it or not. Okay, go 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 go. Why the compile? Let's see. The project file could not be loaded. Syntax for the XML declaration is invalid on line 1. Sorry, what? Oh, dear heavens. What have I done? Yes, that is an invalid declaration. Oh, that's right. I think I ended with a very bad find and replace, didn't I? I think I did, didn't I? Oh, I was... Yeah, because I did this last time. Oh. Oh, that's not good. Because I did all of that and then... Yep, and then I tried my undo. See, I did this last stream right before the build conference, and then I was like, "Oh, I'll just fix it while I'm at the build conference." And I was so bloody tired the end of every day, like that did not happen. Oh, that's right. I'm a bloody freaking moron. Okay, so what? So this clearly replayed it. This replaced T and C with... I'm trying to look at what the failure is here. Like, what letter did I replace all the... Boy, yeah, I remember this now. Okay, we're gonna try something. We're gonna try something wacky. We are gonna try something wacky. Move. We're gonna commit first before we get too carried away, and then we're gonna open up VS Code, and we're gonna specifically open up VS Code because VS Code has something. VS Code has agent mode in the happy little button right here. Okay, and I would like to go into here, and it's this one. Nope. It's this one. I made a mistake and placed the letters T and C with test in this file. Please revert the change. Now, I don't know about you, all right? So if anybody needs a proof that Copilot is useful, like, I don't know about you. So that first one was me in ask mode, right? And then the change is I flip the button into agent mode. Agent is do the work, darn it. Now, I don't know how well this is going to go. We're gonna check its work when we're done. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and keep that. I don't know about you. That looks darn close. Now the line count seems off, so that gives me some pause. So we're gonna go back in and double. Let's just check this thing side by side diff here, right? Okay. Target framework. Well, let's see. I can see that we had I don't know why I'm pointing to the screen. Net 472, net 60, net 80. Yep. Assembly title, product, use Microsoft testing platform, app output type, use WPF. I'll have you note, I didn't tell it that I accidentally replaced. I told it the letters C and S. Is that what I told it? T and C. I told it 2 letters. I will have you know, the AI figured out that this needed to be an F. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yep, that looks great. Okay, Visual Studio. How hip are you? How hip are you to the change? If I go reload project, are you going to be able to reload this? Right? Build. Let's see. So this one is unhappy. WPF test. It claims that there's a version specified. Projects that use central package management. Yep. That's not true. We're gonna unload and reload you. I think you've lost your. I think the AI has done better than you, Visual Studio, because I don't see versions on any of these packages. Build. Now this should still fail to build, just to be clear. What are you complaining about? So it's complaining about all 3 targets. Projects that use central package management should not define versions on the package reference items, but on the package version items. Items XUnit, XUnit, and XUnit. So I think the issue is that this still exists here. But that's a bad error message. I think it's just confused because it had T unit and X unit in there. Did it put that in, or did I have X unit in here before? Oh, it got confused. This was probably supposed to be T unit. Oh, and it had to guess. And I had two packages that it could have been. So this was probably supposed to be T unit instead, not X unit. Oh. Bad Copilot. You almost fixed my project file. You got one letter wrong. Pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. So let's go data grid tests. I mean, I'm on a roll. Like this is yeah. Please also fix this file. Now, you'll note I gave it limited context to work with. This is me testing the AI. Like, I want to see just exactly how good you're going to do this. I mean, I'm kind of impressed already. Again, the project file got one letter wrong, so we'll call that 99% accurate. And you'll note, look at that. Like, it knows the correct letters. Keep. Like, seriously. That is insane. That is freaking insane. Now, I'm going to double check these when we do the at the PR to make sure that I haven't lost any tests or anything weird. But that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, Copilot. Rating bar test. Let's do that one. Oh, this is going to be a let's see here. Let's see. Two files changed. Drop that one out of context. Drop that one out of context. Fix this file too. You know, maybe I should go one step further. I should maybe ask it to find all the files I screwed up in. That might take too long. I can probably find the files quicker. Like, this is what I mean when I say it is an awesome tool, because the amount of time it would take me to go through and do these same replacements, like, I would not be as fast. This is faster than me. I think I can say that with confidence. Wait a minute. It did the data grid tests. No, I don't want the data grid tests. I want the rating bar tests. Fix this file too. No, I want you to fix this one. Fix rating bar tests.cs2. Thank you. Okay. Now we're at least working on the right file. It's not the most brilliant. It's like a really poorly trained intern. It's like, I fixed the same file again. Not helpful. Not helpful. But it is, I do like how you can watch the little, like, you can follow along as it figures it out as it goes. It is worrying me that it's off on its line counts. That part gives me a bit of pause. Oh, it's done the old school namespace. Bet you it did that on the other one too, didn't it? Yeah, so it screwed up on all of these. And these are supposed to be test. 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 Okay, so we're gonna end up having to do a little bit of cleanup here. And then this one, it got this one correct. And then what was the, isn't it STA thread executor? I think that's right. In T-unit core extensions. Yeah. Oh, but it didn't capitalize it correctly. Okay, that's still pretty good. That's still pretty good. I suppose I could have done a find and replace on these. Okay. Oh, and we got to clean up all of the asserts in here. How are you doing here? Keep. Um, okay, new context. Not current file. I want here. Please await all of the cert calls. Let's do that. While it's thinking about that, I'll let it keep going. I want to go and check its rating bar test work now. Okay, so we're gonna fix this. We're gonna get rid of this. We're gonna get rid of your using garbage, and then we're gonna end up this. What did it do? What did it do? Boy, it went off the rails, didn't it? Yeah, I'm just trying to read about what this was. I wish I could use AI to generate some tests for me. Sadly, having to use CLine as refused to make my Docker image to build my CMake project code. Yeah, I will say there are. Oh man, like it replay like it's pretty shocking that what it was able to figure out. Like, just trying to figure out where it got its line numbers off. Seems like it didn't mess up the line numbers too badly. This is where it lost its mind. That one it didn't do right. That one it didn't do right, and it lost a bunch in here. And then it dropped a bunch of tests there. Okay, so it did good up to a point, and then it okay, so we're gonna have it go back and try again. Discard changes. Let's see. Because this call is not awaited. What do you mean? Catch up to me. Yeah, it's fine. There. That seems good. Okay, so we'll come back here. Keep. Yeah, we're gonna come back to here. We're gonna redo this. Replace test with the correct letter in this file. I'm gonna give it a just re-upload the file. What? Right here. Attach files content. I don't know why it's. Here's the file content is still empty. Let's try this again. Don't know why you have lost your mind. Replace test with the correct letter in the current file. It looks like the. Dang it. See you, Izzy. Have a good one. So I don't have the content. Why are you struggling on this one? Okay, well, let's grab a different one. Is it every file in here? But only some. Only some. Let's see. Replace test in the with the correct letter in this file. Maybe I'll go back to just fix this file. See, this one it picked up. I wonder why it's all of a sudden started struggling with the other one. Okay, keep. Let's see. Custom color theme tests. Go here. We're going to clean up some of this for it. Let's see. We'll do that. A data source must only have. Let's see. So we're going to do this. I'm going to fix for it because I think I can do it faster. Place all of those. And let's do the assert. I don't know what throws exactly is. Throws a sync. And then what is this thing squawking about? Oh, this is assert throws, not throws a sync. Oh, this one isn't awaitable. Okay. Really? Void. And then just only have one matching parameter. Okay, we'll have to look at that here in just a second. A thread executor is not an attribute class. Yes, it is. Okay, and then we will just await both of these. Come in here, await both of these. That gets me into there, that gets me into there. This gives me an opportunity to do this. This gives me an opportunity to do this. Just clean that up. Okay. You are wanting collection initializer? No. Okay, so method data source. Did we do... Where have we done a method data source? Okay, so let's figure this one out. The assert throws assert that. So is it any errors? I think my IntelliSense is dying on me. Is that what it was before? Undo buffer, undo buffer, undo buffer. Exactly. That is that does exist. We're getting too many invalid errors and it doesn't know what it's doing. Okay, let's see if we can get these things undo. Dialog host test. Next. See. Please fix this file. I think this is probably the fastest way to undo all of my badness is just let the AI fix it. Just is probably the safest. Like, and I think again, if I can help plug the event again, where'd it go? Where'd it go? I have it right. So, because I do strongly believe that this like these AIs are a great tool. I think they are overhyped as the industry killer that some people think they are. But I absolutely believe that they are an amazing tool because me trying to go through and figure out what these letters are individually is not nearly as fast as the magical AI just doing it for me. Like, even if it's wrong, it's going to be a lot righter than I will be. Oh, look. It caught on to the fact that it was getting these wrong and it's fixed that too. Excellent. Thank you for not being dumb, Copilot. I mean, you're still dumb. And you know what? Oh, oh. Okay, so I was lamenting this with one of my colleagues the other day too, is one of the things I have found is one of the limitations is my speed and ability to get the appropriate context and request into the agent in order for it to do the right thing, right? Because sometimes you have to give it enough knowledge to do the right bit of work, and it's not always trivial to give it that information. And sometimes it takes a little while. It's like, wow, that's kind of annoying. But we can just talk to it. We'll try that next. We'll just try that next. Like, because what's more new agey than just like, I'm going to talk to the computer and tell it to do it. Like, I mean, it's going slow. It's only 250 lines down, but I'm trying to think of how many lines down I would be. It is bothering me that it is dropping comments. So we're gonna have to watch this thing like a hawk on the PR. Because it is potentially screwing some of these up. But at least if it gets it most of the way back, like, that'll be good enough. Because I'd really hate to go through and redo all the work. Because that's the alternative, right? Is I just revert the commit where everything went wrong and say, you know what? Start over. But that would make me sad. And I don't like being sad. I like being happier. It's much nicer to be happier than sad. That's my opinion. Where did... There it is. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, sure. I wish this thing... Does this thing give me the option of split editor? No, I don't. I want the diff left and right. I don't keep. I don't actually want a split editor. Okay. That gets me close. Okay. It once again lost its mind and is convinced we're an N unit now. Great. You're a moron. Thank you. You know, maybe I'm wondering, maybe it would be quicker to revert. Oh, do I really want to do that? Okay, let's test that theory. Stash these changes. And this is the problematic one. So we're going to go down here, revert commit. No. Okay, so we've got all the changes. And some of these we definitely want to not revert. Like this one we don't want to do. So remember, we're looking at the back. Because we reverted, we're looking at the inverse of what we're doing. So, and this, we absolutely don't want either. We want to get rid of X unit. That's the goal. We're going to T unit. This change here is removing the X unit runner. So, yep, we want to keep that. Put that back. We just want to find, so we want to keep that because that's a mess. We want to keep that because that's a mess. Keep that. By keep, I mean I want to keep the revert of it. So any of the things that are the that I think we hold. That all looks good. Keep. So I'm reverting things out of the. I'm dropping things out of the revert if they are the good stuff. We'll just do these ones over because I don't know what I was doing. And someone should remind me. Save and commit often. That way I don't have to throw this away. Come on. Actually, I already know that one's bad. That one's bad. Boy, I can't believe past Kevin was such an idiot. This is why he shouldn't be allowed to write code. But I still have enough Mountain Dew, so I'm probably okay for a little bit, I think. Great. Okay. I don't care what the AI is going to put for this message. Reverting stupid. There we go. That is the appropriate message. Okay, now if we go back here, yeah, reload project. I don't doubt Visual Studio's probably lost its mind going, what the heck are you doing to me? Okay. But I think we can co-pilot our way to victory. I refuse to say vibe code my way to victory. Because that just has the wrong vibe. See? That's the level of humor we got. And I'm sorry. Yeah, so this isn't perfect, but it's a heck of a lot closer than where we were. So let's see, what did we do wrong here? Assert that, so we don't need any of this garbage because global usings are a thing. That's right. So I think this is where I screwed up before, right? Is I had regular expression turned on, and this matches a set. We do not want that. We do not want that at all, right? So we are going to intentionally not have regular expressions enabled for this. Entire solution, let's just go current project, replace all. Right? That should fix all of those. Great. Okay. So what is this? Constructor accepts IEnumerable. I don't know what it moved around here, but this has clearly lost its mind. But this should be assert that A, B, and C collection is equal to the collection, and then that goes away. Yeah, so there was just a lot of but this is probably, we need a set. Oh, and this is async task. Okay. Now this, so where are we? Tree list view tests. Okay, so let's go here. Now we can do this. Wait. Review tests? No, tree list view test. Where are we? WPF test internal. Oh, we are up here. Okay. Get you out of here. New context. Speech extension. Sure. Let's do this. We're gonna try this because if I can make it go and do my bidding, this will be awesome. Please update all test methods in this file to be async. Yep. Do it. Where's the go button? Is it going? I am confused. Is it thinking? I'm wondering if it's thinking. Copilot? Okay, we're gonna race. Which one of us can get this done faster? think this is probably what this was before, and lost its mind. Yes. Going now? Thank you. Keep. Okay, we'll come back to you in a minute. I'm gonna continue playing with this. So I think, nope, you're not helping. Assert that. Oh, this should actually. I've got this backwards even. Collection, because it's actual expected. It's not. Let's see here. Assert that collection. Use collection expression. That's fine. So what are you squawking about here? I'm confused. Is equal to. Yeah, that's correct. Why do I not believe you, Visual Studio? Value assertion builder. I'm gonna go with you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Is equal to. See, it's the same problem here. Why? Yeah, so this is whatever regex garbage past Kevin did. He should be fired for, because past Kevin didn't know what he was doing. Should be that. Should be that. And I'm sure it saved past Kevin a little bit of time. But why is this failing? Assert that tree view collection. Right? Oh, there's okay, I see. Because the let's see. No. No, I just want because now that you know what it is, for static read-only fields over constant array arguments. The call method is called repeatedly. Oh dear heavens, we are going to suppress that immediately. Yeah, I get. So this is actually a good thing, right? So this is one. I assume this is a new analyzer. Yeah, enabled by default in .NET 9. So this is something new in .NET 9, and this is one of the things that usually bites people when they upgrade their .NET version. Right? Is new analyzers. It's your code hasn't gotten any worse. It's just now it's being flagged because if you had a method like this that was invoked multiple times over, you are repeatedly recreating an array instance with 2 items in it every time, and that is wasteful. It is much better to only create the array once, especially if it's just going to have a constant set of items that don't change, and reuse it, right? That's what this is saying. However, this is a test method, right? So this is not a concern of mine. This is a different problem. And it's only a problem because of the way this is set up. So we're gonna just fix this. Because of the way this is set up, I don't doubt I'm probably going to get some of these wrong. Let's see. Is equivalent to, and then these become just an array initializer. Tell it to shut up. Oh, it can't. Oh. Generic enumerable. Interesting. This is one of the few cases where it doesn't work. Oh, that is very interesting. I am shocked. Okay. Let's see. CA goes to the end. I think. And then this gets like this and is equivalent to, and it just works. We tell that thing to shut up. And then this needs to be test. And is equivalent to, and then this is just a bunch of collection simplification. I'm surprised it doesn't understand how to do that. That'll work. This is kind of dumb though. This should be the same thing. The fact it's because I did the replacement on the nested one without looking at what it was doing, because the dot dot is what's called the spread operator. So imagine you're making a sandwich with peanut butter and jelly. You spread out the peanut butter. So the spread operator takes in a collection of items and spreads them out. You can also think of it like fanning a deck of cards out on the table, right? You spread them where the items in your array are each of the individual cards, right? So, but that's it's stupid to kind of build these things up just to like build an array just to spread the items out. Like, oh, it's still that static. Do not like that. Do not like that at all. I am not happy. I am not happy. Let's see. Yeah, the fact that this thing, I'm just going to assume that a bunch of these are going to fail. Collection initialization can be simplified. Can it? Can it really? Okay, getting annoyed with this. So we're going to do this maneuver. We're going to make sure regex is off. Okay, replace all. That is much better. Much better, much better, much better. These ones, I believe, should be able to be converted. Nope. Let's see. Is equivalent to, making it, let's see, is equivalent to, this one I think we can do on the, yeah, so we want this to be new, but we want that to be the collection expression. All right, we don't want to spread on the thing. Let's see. Is equivalent to, just make our life a little bit simpler. Collection expression, collection expression. Very, very good. Can't change that one. Is equivalent to, this one we absolutely can, because that is an array on the left of the equals. Because when you do these collection expressions, the compiler has to be able to know what the target type is by looking at what the assignment is going towards, right? So in this case, the left side of the equals. If these were passed into a method, it's the parameter type that it uses. But when it can do it, the compiler can actually build up a very efficient collection depending on what that target type is. Sometimes the generated types that the compiler can build are actually even more efficient than what you can express in C# yourself. Sometimes the C# team likes to flex a little bit and say, yeah, look at this. We can do something insanely efficient because we are the compiler. Like, yeah, you're right. Why am I doing any of this? This is just a list of strings. So, and then I get rid of this. Like, I am realizing I was doing new on all of these, but I don't think I need to do new on any of these. Like, I can just do this instead. And the compiler knows how to sort that out. Yeah, so there's probably some back there that I could go back and make more efficient and not have them suck quite as badly, but like all of these are just straight up individual lines. And I think for my talk, I actually, when we get to collection expressions, my sample is something very similar to this, where it just, there's a lot of improvements that come Like in a lot of cases, the C# team, like I joked earlier that they get feature envy with other languages, but they really do try to make sure that they are improving the language in ways that make sense, right? And so, like there was one discussion I got to be involved in where they were looking at potential new syntax. I'm trying to remember what it was for. I think it was for the null assignment operator that's supposed to be coming in C#14. And there was a lot of debate about no, it was these collection expressions, because right now some collection expressions like dictionaries constructor, they have overloads on them that take in. So for example, if I do dictionary of string, right, and I go, foo gets new, right? There's an overload here that takes in things like an equality compare, right? Which is great, except for when I do just the straight square braces around the items, there's no way for me to specify an equality compare. And so the debate was around, zoom it. Why is it not letting go of my keyboard? There we go. The debate was around how to actually express that in a collection expression. And like, because there's plenty of ways that could be done, but the debate was around what is the right way, which is not nearly as simple of a question to answer, right? And it got even more interesting because the simple answer is, well, obviously you just put a comma and you express it right at the end of the set of items. But that doesn't actually work because C# is a left to right language, right? So like in English, we read words left to right. The compiler reads code left to right as well. And so you can't do something at the end of the sentence that modifies the beginning part of the sentence, because once the compiler's gone through, there's not this back and forth stuff. Like it's already gone past. And so figuring out a good syntax for that is weird and difficult and hard. And I think that discussion ended with, "Yep, we're still thinking on it," or something about of that effect. Let's see. Is null. That is null. I do kind of wonder if I could turn the AI loose on this at this point and tell it to go fix up the rest of this. I don't know. Some part of me actually enjoys some of this typing and thinking through this. Like, I don't know. It solidifies it in my head when I have the opportunity to do it. Is empty. And though this regex garbage is annoying me a little bit, I think past Kevin did something like this. I don't know, but it does strike me as something that past Kevin would absolutely do. He is that level of crazy. Let's see. Wait, and then this. You really want to do a better collection expression? Great. And then insert that is empty. This is just so sad. Because I think I had intentionally tried to rewrite these so that it pulled it across, but I think I didn't factor in the fact that some of my values were like curly braces with initializers in them. And so it only handled the simple case. Is empty. Await task, completed task. This is a stupid line. Okay. Well, we got through one. Let's see, enable, yeah. And you can tell I am running preview builds of Visual Studio, so I see that yellow bar a lot. I will say, though, in general, Visual Studio is, the preview builds are very stable. Let's see. is equivalent to. Okay, what is your problem here? So the type tree cannot be used as the type parameter t actual in generic type method. There's no implicit reference converting to IEnumerable of string. Does this thing not implement IEnumerable? It implements observable collection. Doesn't that have IEnumerable? Collection of T? Yeah, it's got IList. Like, IEnumerable is in the set. Am I stupid? Um, I don't fully understand what that thing's telling me yet, and especially since this thing here clearly works. Why is it just these early ones that it's squawking at? Tree list view item collection. Yeah. Assert that collection. Oh, is it because it wants the implicit type conversion? It can't figure it out? Is that the problem? There. Okay. Well, dumb, but we'll make it work. Why is Zoomit doing this? Zoomit, I think you've lost your mind and you need to be rebooted. It's going to kill you and then restart you. There. Think about what you've done for a moment, Zoomit. Decide if it's the path you want to go down. There. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay, air list, and we continue on with the other ones. Let's see here. Assert that. Yeah, this is one of those cases where this guy is almost assuredly my regex problem. Okay, so we're going to clean these up, and let's see if we can actually fix this up with the AI, because I think this is something it can handle. Dialog host tests. So we're going to go here, and let's pick on one of the first errors. So where is, yeah. We're going to new context window it, and we're going to go with fix the assert null calls. These should actually be in the form await assert null value. Oh, assert that is null. Pretty good. Exactly what I wanted. Thank you. Fix the assert true calls in a similar manner. Oh, it's actually doing all the holy crap. You know what? Let's see what happens. I should commit. I should have committed. Save point. Real quick save point. Real quick. Holy cow. It is. Well, on a positive note, it's fixing them. And it appears to be doing them correctly. Okay, this might not be the end of the world. That did it correctly. That did it correctly. Yeah. You didn't get them all, but you got a lot of them. Okay. We're just let's keep going. False. We're gonna let this guy rock and roll. See, but I made a commit this time, so now I can watch it like a hawk. Or were those assert falses? I know I saw some in here. 4. Need the rest of the file of it. Keep. Did it really change 6 files? No, it only changed 1. Did it do it correctly? Yeah. Okay. That was pretty simple. Let's keep looking down here. It didn't fix them all. There's an assert true. There's these assert that. What is this one doing? Task. Clear this out. Ensure all the test methods in this file are made async. Okay, go fix those because that should fix up that here in just a second. I'm gonna move you off to the side. If I'm gonna get the full AI experience, I want it to do work alongside me. So I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna do the real work and let it think about its life and contemplate how to make a method async. Didn't do the whole file. It changed some, but it didn't change them all, you jerk. All test methods in data grid assist tests. Oh, I'm in dialog host tests. Go back. I got the wrong file open. It switched when we did a. Ensure all methods in this file are async. I'm realizing that maybe I don't want all methods, but eh. Okay, let's keep going. That'll deal with that. That'll deal with that. I'll fix that. Assert that is true. Wait, assert that is false. See here. Keep. Oh, it's unhappy. Overwrite. Probably just threw away some of my work. Oh, but it fixed up most of the file. Except for this one. I may have overwritten in my paste, and then it actually fixed most of these. Let's see, this needs to be inside of an async block, which we can make this an async block. I think we can get away with this. Okay. That handles that file. And that felt like it was faster than normal. Rating bar tests. Let's see here. Because this is a weird one. This is going to be this goes here, and there's a comma now that gets added there. All right. So let's go here and go with rating bar tests. Oh, actually commit. Let's save what we've got. Great. And then we're gonna go rating bar tests. Close out these things. Ensure all test methods in this file are async. We're gonna let that guy go. And rather than fighting with him, I think the better thing is for me to move on to a different file. So let's find whatever one comes next after rating bar. Okay. Await. Queue. Let's see. Async task. I'm once again gonna put you on the side so I can let you go. And then it claims to be done. Okay. What ones do we have here? So STA theory just becomes test. We can do, no, it's test with, oh shoot, what is this? Test with the STA thread executor. What we want it to be. I want to do this. Place some files. Regex is off. Place all. Not only killed 5, but you know what? 5 less that I didn't have to deal with. Okay, what else is still in this file? Is assignable from. And there's an assert that here is off. I need the comma there. That gets me close. And I need the comma there. And I'm not actually confident that I've got the order of these parameters correct. But the nice part is all these tests were in a working state before. So if I get the values backwards, that'll be an obvious test failure. Why do we have this converter here? What are you complaining about? Oh, it's because it's being cast to an interface. Okay, whatever. I don't know why we had the 10 in here. That feels weird, so we're gonna get rid of it for now and then see what comes when it breaks. Okay. Let's see here. And this can just be collection expression. Let's see here. And then the rating bar tests. So let's go. We're going to turn this thing loose again. Because what is it? Fix the assert not null calls in this file. Put it off to the side. And while he's thinking about life and the meaning of happiness and all the other things, I'm going to go work on this. Let's see. And so hopefully this actually, let's see, I gotta await that, is false. How you doing, Copilot? You still thinking? Still thinking. Okay. You do you, Copilot. Okay. Uh, yep, take that. Thanks. Okay, come back here, come back here. What else is wrong in this file? Okay, is assignable from. So I don't know what this needs to be. Because this is effectively checking to make sure that we get back a linear gradient brush. So let's see, assert that results is it, because this guy here is trying to do linear gradient brush, right? That's the point of this. Look at that, we can make you static. Yay, we'll gain performance in this all at the same time. Yay for performance. Let's see, collection initializer can be simplified. Okay, so that gets me to there. So really, I think what I want then, I want it to turn into this, right? Okay, so we're gonna go. Actually, I think all of them are in the exact same form. So we're just gonna cut paste, and I think I'm just gonna do these by hand because I don't see any reason not to. Yeah, because all these things are just hard casting at the end of this. So probably could have gone as far as to blind find and replace, but I kind of want to look at them. Okay, so that handles all of those. Okay, the snack bar test is almost done. Let's finish this up, and then I will give it another file to play with. Let's see. Is false. And then, okay, is this one still needing some work? Yes, but I don't know. Let's have it clean this up. Let's see, new context. See this one here. Ensure all test methods in this file are async. We'll say that feels very magical doing that. Okay, let's look at this one. Let's see, apply style, because this call is not awaited. That it was probably actually a bug in the original too. I don't think, why is apply style async? Oh, it wasn't async originally. It got changed with this. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Let's see, assert, what is this? Assert fail? What this wants? Yeah. Let's see. This is wrong here. This was checking for style. Assert that style. Style is not null. Because paste. That's what we want. Okay, so that goes there. How'd you do on your task, Copilot? You good? Boy, good boy, Copilot. You're real developer now. You're almost a real developer. Okay. Got to figure out the assert that. Um, is that really the way to do an assert single? There's no single. Okay. Well, that'll work then. Little surprised. That feels like something that I want added. Okay, so what is this squawking here? Assert statements must be awaited. Which then, yeah, because we were doing this back differently. Great. That fixes those. Okay. See, we are making great progress. Clean the usings up. Let's see. Clean the usings up. Let's see here. Let's see. Await. Assert that. We go. Go. I should really just run cleanup on the whole thing. I don't remember what the member data change was. Oh, we punted on this one, didn't we? May have to go look that one up in T units, docs. Or actually, you know what? Hey, Copilot. Let's see. Let's get out of agent mode and go into ask mode for a moment. New. What is the proper way in T unit to use a function to provide the parameters to this test? In this case, I want to chat. I don't want to. Let's see how it works. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So short version, you're an idiot, Copilot. You're already doing it correctly. No. No, I am not. So that's not very exciting. This is where we now go to the Googles. T unit member data source. So Copilot clearly needs a little help. Let's see. Nope, not discussion. I want docs. Where are the docs at? Tutorial. Yeah. Parallelism, examples, migration. Where is the test authoring, data-driven testing, method data sources? There we go. Let's see here. It has two arguments. If you pass in one argument, this is the method name containing your data. Was in the turn pass in two arguments. The first should be a type. Great. If methods are returning. Oh, so it doesn't support. Can also accept tuples if you don't want to create lots of new types within your test assembly. Okay. I wonder if it needs a tuple or if it just needs something that can deconstruct appropriately. Okay. So, in this case, I think what it wants is base theme, color, right? And then these guys here become no, not quite what I wanted. Let's see, comma, and then we just do this down the line. And we have magically inserted a tuple. I mean, points awarded to unit for having a nice analyzer to flag that it was going to fail. Less cool for not supporting the same functionality. Let's see. Assert that theme foreground is not default. Got it. Okay. We can clean this up and just go with a delegate, and the world becomes a happy place. Yay! Okay. Okay, so we need to clean this guy up. So what is your problem here? Assert that expected date is equal to blah, blah, blah. Date only. So let's see. Expected date is a date time. Selected time. I'm missing something. Assert that expected date. Actually, I think this is supposed to be here. Equal to expected date. I think that's the problem. Is it's going the wrong way. Okay, and then the one we just did, the member, what's the member data sourcey stuff? Member data source. This guy. You go here. And then we just need to fix you. And then you go here, and we just need to fix you. Let's see. And then you need to be async task. I should probably be tasking the agent to do this work, but this is a beautiful option. Time picker test 213. So let's go here. View contacts. Time picker test 213. Right? Okay. Fix the get displays expected text data for culture method to return a value tuple rather than an object array. Make the change, but reserve the new lines. See if this works. Here comes the speedy blue line. Did it preserve the new lines? No. You moron. Oh, it is searching for this method in all files. That's terrifying. That's terrifying. Admittedly, I didn't tell it current file. This is the problem. Like, AI can be like a small, very literal child that doesn't have any concept of thinking. Like, what did I tell you to do? Preserve the new lines. What did you not do? Preserve the new lines. Ya jerk. Ya absolute jerk. Okay, so that's those two changes are fine. How do I tell you to stop? I want you to stop now. Please stop. Cancel. I would like you to stop doing work now. Back off. Okay. Okay, that is fine. And I think all I have to do now is take this guy here, the bloody long line that you just wrote for me. Appreciate that. And then if I turn you into that, should just work. Okay, now let's fix the new lines that it has so eloquently botched for me. It was so nice of it. You bad co-pilot. You had one job to do. There. Now at least it's readable. Do the same thing here. Maybe bring that down, bring that down. There, there, there. There, just to make it like... Normally long method names like this I would scoff at, but in this case it's like I need it to be reasonable. Let's see here. This guy wants the exact same thing. And this what I heard is this became a var. Oh, but we can do something really clever here. We can do something really, really clever here. So what we can do is we can actually deconstruct this. So culture info, culture, bool is 24-hour. Let's see here. Bool with seconds, date, time, date, string, time, string. We can do this, and then I can delete all of these and get rid of this. And it should appropriately deconstruct this sucker into, I cannot deconstruct 6 elements into 5 variables. Okay, so what did I do wrong? So it's actually, this is the one I don't care about, not this one. I can do that. And then the issue it's going to have is it wants to assign to these. And that ain't going to work. Because before it had an array that it can mutate, and now it doesn't have an array to mutate. Let's see. Invert the order of parameters. So date and time string. What is this? Oh, because these are in a different order. Why didn't we just change the order of the parameters here? Am I missing something? Why did we... Oh, because we kept the expectation. Oh, I see. It's because these things are flipping. Oh, that's why we did that. We're gonna go var new date and new date, and then we are going to return here culture, and we're going to return format. We're going to return is 24-hour, and then we're going to return with seconds. And then this is where we flip it. We do time string, then we do date, and then we don't go here. And then we realize that I was a moron. I didn't invert these. I didn't realize I needed to. And then that becomes slight rename of, this becomes time string, and this becomes expected time. And now it just works. Go. Okay. That got me to there. Where are we at on this? Where are we at on this? 2 errors left. That seems unlikely. Okay, we got some issues with net 6 and some things not being supported. Okay, so what do we got here? Let's see. Calendar tests. Calendar format info tests. Let's go here. Calendar format info tests. New one. Make sure all of the test methods in this file are async. Okay, we'll let you go think about what you've done. And then the next one after this. Calendar info. Problem is my error list is getting down there where it's not flagging properly. We're gonna just make sure we've cleaned up all these other ones around here. I think most of these we've handled. Let's see. This was STA fact. This is going to be test STA thread executor. And we don't have to worry about the timeout as much anymore, so we can just replace all of these. That'll be okay. That is very much an XUnit 2 mentality. Then Copilot finished its task. Back over here, Copilot. Come back. I can't just see. Let's see. Keep. Great. Go back over to here. Calendar test. What's the error? Any errors left in here? Nope. Just some unused usings. Clean those up. That fixes those. Great. Let's see. Let's go to clock tests. Same thing. We go new context window so it doesn't get confused. Make sure all of the test methods in this file are made async. Over on the side where I can ignore you for a moment and continue down my own. Okay, those are fine. Those are, oh, data grid tests. We've got unused usings. Dialog host tests, drawer host. I am realizing I haven't committed in a little bit, and I probably should. Let's see. These are all XUnit. Enum data attribute. Are you in use? Are. You are in use. So we may need to do something about you. Is close to, we wrote our own here, but let's see, let's fix the namespace to match. Let's see here, and what is your problem? This does not support floating point math in net 6 or 472, so we're going to have to address that. Let's see here. Keep going down though. Copilot fix the clock test ones. Let's go check those. Those now show compiling. Great. What's that enum data one is going to be problematic. We'll need to address it. What are you wanting? Now we're not expression bodying that member. Do that. I'm trying to think of how I want to handle that enum one. That's kind of a weird one. Let's see. Assert that. What is this? So this should be enum values add, because a hash set's add function returns a bool. And so the idea here is we just are adding all of them into a hash set, And if add returns false, it means it didn't add something because of a duplicate value. In this case, because the compare being fed into the hash set says, okay, we're going to compare strings and we're going to ignore case. This is an easy way effectively to get a distinct set of strings that were its case insensitive comparison. And then we're going to add a because. Okay, that goes there. We already did that one. Clean that up. That up. What are you squawking about here? Should be disposed of with inside of a cleanup method. I think it is. It is. Oh, that's a T unit. Interesting. So we need a. What is their cleanup way of doing things? Let's see. What is their? Oh, it's gonna be test lifecycle test cleanups. Um. So let's see here. This is created in a constructor. So this is we want it is after test. So we can then. Yeah, so we want to do this. We want to get rid of that, and we don't want to do the regular disposal bits. We don't need to do that anymore. And I think what we want to do is we want to do this, and we want to do after test. And I think we want to come up here. I think we want to go here, and I think we want to do this, and I think we want to do this. I think we want to do something like cleanup, and I think we want to do this, and I think we want to do this. Just want to delete a bunch of code. Let's see here. And what is your... Must be public. Okay. Done. And then it's now happy again. How are they doing this? What is that? Oh, it's just an enum member that they've included. Oh, okay. Got it. That is a clever use of a using static. Okay. Let's see. This was having trouble converting this to a theory. This is not really going to be relevant anymore. Because that was all XUnity things, and we are no longer in XUnit land. We are now in happy TUnit land, where the world is asynchronous. At least that's what we all like to think. Let's see, async task. Await, assert that is not null. Go. Clean that up. Great. I heard save point. Save. The things are making progress. So we are going to absolutely save this. Okay. Close all that up, and then let's see what we're down to. Caller argument expression attribute is inaccessible due to... Oh. This is so sad. Like, this is not inaccessible. It's just not available on this platform. Is close to find all references. You know what? We aren't using this right now, so let's just whack it. Problem solved. Can't be a bug if it doesn't exist. Let's see, data attribute, and I kind of want to delete this enum data attribute. Is there anything weird about this? No, it literally is a fancy way of doing enum get values. Let's get rid of this and see what the fallout from that is. I assume we're going to need to write a little thing to do it, but that's, yeah. It's the easiest way to do this. Let's look real quick at their docs on data driven. Because let's see. You can also specify a method that will turn an enumerable of t. But I kind of wonder if I can get away with this. Because I wonder, can I do, so drop you, put you up, matrix method, and I think you support class enum, and then enum get values. I don't know that that's going to work. No data source provided. And the reason I don't know that this is going to work is because this would need to know the generic overload for this, and I don't know how to specify that. I think that would be somewhat problematic. Because this guy here, yeah, he does nothing in the way of getting the... Nothing in the way of actually getting what we need. But can I just derive from this matrix attribute instead? Maybe I can derive from the matrix attribute instead. Probably just as easy. And actually, I might even be able to go further than that. Okay, hold on. Idea. I think what we can do is we can do discard changes. And I think what we can do is we can go to the enum data attribute. And I think we can do matrix attribute t enum. T enum. Right? I think because I think what I can do is on this guy here, he wants T objects. So down here, get rid of all of this. And this guy is just wanting a constructor that takes a param. So in here, what I can just do is enum get values, T enum, and literally feed this into the base. Let's see. And then we need to do non-generic method. Why there is. What do you mean non-generic method? Oh, doesn't exist as a generic in all cases. That was something that was added later. So it exists in some, but not in others. Let's back this up. What we're going to do is we're going to make this not suck. So pound if net 6 or greater, I believe, has the generic. It's only the 4-5 one that's biting me. Else. And if. Yeah, so that's fine there. And then we're going to switch ourselves to 452. And this is going to be enum get values type of t enum. Let's see, of type. I can't type of type. Oy vey. Okay, of type. Thank you. To array. Now, why you are being unhappy about this? Because I didn't do the right number of closing parens. Collection initializing can be simplified. Sure. Spread. That's fine. We can do that. Now I should have an enum data attribute. And I can go enum data math operation. In theory, no data source provided. I don't know what that means. No data source provided. Because isn't that... Oh, I need to do matrix data source on top. Make it happy. Okay. That works. Does mean a little bit of duplication, but you know what? That's fine. Well, let's go chase the rest of those down. Let's see. Collection. That doesn't exist in this assembly anymore, so that just goes away. Let's see here. Let's see. This is another matrix data source. Clean up usings. Enum data. Math operation. I'll work there. Let's see here. This one. Oh, this one did not need to be made async. Okay. I am a little surprised, but I realize that these methods throw, so it's sort of a test. Where is it complaining? Oh, let's see. Task. Wait. Okay. That gets me there, but I probably have now broken. Wait. 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 Gonna be a bunch of these. 20, in fact. Where else did it get used? Clock test, clock picker test. I think most of them are going to be... Oh, that's going to be a problem. That is going to be a problem. I don't like that. Do not like that. Let's see. Before test, public async setup. Yeah. Let's see. Async ask. Then I'm going to just do this down here. That'll make that. Now we can deal with that. I don't think there's any reason why order of this would matter. These things are going to need to be down here now because I need the style applied, which means these things can't be read-only. That's fine. That's fine. There's an argument to be made that color picker probably doesn't need to be even in here at all, and we can just straight up do it like that and call it a day. There. That'll handle that. Let's see here. And then, oh, it wants these things technically nullable. I don't really, I kind of want to just tell it to shut up because I know that the T unit is going to execute the setup and that these things have to be assigned at that point. So I'm going to just shut it up. Tell it I'm the developer, darn it. Okay, and the good news is we have a bunch of these. Bad news is we have a bunch of these. Let's see, let's do this. End up doing the same thing here. And actually, it's probably good that we catch some of these because I think that this dispose pattern is probably being used in a bunch of places, and I need to not be doing that. It gets new. Again, just throw you away. Can await you. And then the after test. Nope. That's probably for the better to have something more akin to that. Let's see. And then back to our warnings / errors. See, that's just in a test already, so he's easy. In a test already. In a test already. Async pass now. So we actually have a thing. Oy vey. The issue here is this is actually spinning a thread. Like this thread start, like this delegate is declared void. So by putting an async on here, I've literally declared an async void lambda. That's terrifying. That is terrifying to say the least. All because this thing here wants to have these asserts in them. Boy, I'm thinking we're gonna change this because I don't these are not cases that actually realistically occur. And so I think what we're going to do, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. We're going to do this. Figure out where I typoed it. That way, like it's now going to cause all errors where I put all of those awaits, but I think I would rather remove them and not do this kind of setup because it just feels like something that's going to cause extra grief without a lot of gain. Selection expression there while we're in here. Yeah, because this is just a lot of pain to do an async void delegate being passed to a thread feels like a recipe for shooting yourself in the foot. And as exciting as that is, I think I want to keep my feet. I do like the idea of doing these in setup methods now rather than otherwise. That still makes me feel good, but I don't know that I... There, that... Okay, let's see where we're at now. Got to be getting close. That's got to be getting real close. Okay, what do we got here? So assert that get card style is equal to style. Oh, because they're not in an async method yet. Okay. Okay, Oh, look at that. Cannot await a void. That's fine. Error list. Dereference of possibly null value. Bang. I guess we don't need a bang there. We can null coalesce it because null will not be equal to value either, so that'll also fail appropriately. Let's see here. That error that it complained about. Okay, went away as soon as I loaded it, which makes me suspect it was a design time issue. The little bar of death go away. Oh, let's see. Return a func of t rather than a t. Oh, dear heavens. That sounds like difficulty. But I think the key part here is we're building. Like, we built successfully. So we absolutely save at this point and go huzzah. Yes, are now compiling. There we go. And we're just gonna delete all that. We don't need all the extra stuff. Thank you, Gemini, but no. Okay, so we're gonna push this beast, and I'm gonna let the pipeline run the test to validate and see how they go. See where it lands. I think that was good. That was good. I am happy. We're gonna have test failures. We're gonna have to go fix them, but that is okay. That is absolutely okay. But unfortunately for me, my Mountain Dew is wearing thin, and I think I am slowly burning out. And I know that tomorrow I'm going to be asked to solve some difficult debugging questions. So that will be very exciting. So hopefully that was interesting to people. Real quick reminder. Real quick reminder. So if people are interested in especially learning how to leverage the GitHub Copilot, like, I don't know, I feel like the last hour was a reasonable example of how to make Copilot dance and do your bidding to speed up some of your flow. But if you would like more, we are doing the Copilot Bootcamp. If you want to catch up on what I think are the interesting sessions at Build, there's a playlist from Microsoft with all of the dev tool stuff, which is the area that I am most excited about. And then finally, if you are watching this on YouTube and it is before June 3rd, my .NET user group, if it is after June 3rd, find IntelliTech's YouTube channel, and there is almost assuredly a recording of it there. So, but all the stuff is online, available for people who want. If anybody is local and wants to come and be in person, would love to see smiling faces. I absolutely love being able to touch base with people actually in person rather than just virtually. But with that, I will tell everybody happy coding. See y'all next time.